Welcome to the Big Book for Beginners celebration of 90 years of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a brief history of Alcoholics Anonymous and how the Big Book was written. We hope you enjoy.
In 1934, a desperate alcoholic named Bill Wilson walked into Calvary Episcopal Church in New York City. There, he found the Oxford Group, a spiritual movement focused on moral inventory, restitution, prayer, and helping others. Led by Reverend Sam Shoemaker, Calvary House became Bill's spiritual training ground. Through their guidance, Bill learned key principles: admit your faults, make amends, seek God's direction, carry the message. These lessons would later become the heart of Alcoholics Anonymous. Though AA would move beyond religious roots, it never forgot the message of Calvary. One person can help another if they've been there too. Bill would say, "We've learned what we know from them."
May 11th, 1935. Bill's Crisis in Akron. Bill Wilson, a New York stockbroker and recovering alcoholic, had traveled to Akron, Ohio in May 1935 for a business deal. It failed. Stranded in the Mayflower Hotel, broke and spiritually depleted, Bill stood in the lobby eyeing the bar. He felt the old pull. But instead of drinking, he called a church directory and got in touch with Henrietta Seiberling, a prominent local woman and member of the Oxford Group. She said, "I know just the man you need to talk to."
In June 1935, Dr. Robert Smith, a brilliant surgeon and a hopeless alcoholic, stood on the edge of change. He'd met Bill Wilson weeks earlier, and together they'd helped each other stay sober. But Bob still struggled. On June 10th, he had surgery scheduled, and he was shaking. At his wife Ann's urging, he took one beer and one shot of whiskey, not to party, but to steady his nerves. Then he went to the hospital and performed the operation. That beer and shot would be his last drink. From that day forward, Dr. Bob stayed sober, and together he and Bill founded Alcoholics Anonymous. June 10th, 1935, the day of Dr. Bob's last drink, is celebrated as the birth of AA.
In 1938, Bill Wilson began writing the Big Book in a tiny office above Honor Service, a barbershop in Newark, New Jersey. He used a Remington typewriter and tapped out pages surrounded by cigar smoke and street noise. The office rent, just $30 a month. When finished, they called it Alcoholics Anonymous, which eventually became the name of the fellowship itself. From the little room above a barbershop came a book that would change the world.
But others said, "Bill, we can't guarantee perfection. This is a spiritual program, not a magic cure." After much discussion, the word was changed to rarely. So the final version read, "Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path." That one word, rarely, opened the door for compassion, progress, and grace. A reminder, recovery isn't about perfection, it's about honesty and effort.
When the Big Book was first published in 1939, the group had a shoestring budget, just $3,500, raised mostly by Rockefeller-backed donations. That's around $80,000 in today's money, barely enough to print a religious tract, let alone spiritual textbook for alcoholics. They printed 4,650 copies in that very first edition. Each one sold for $3.50, which would be about $70 today. The book was oversized and typeset like a business manual on purpose. Why? Because Bill W. believed alcoholics respected big, serious-looking books. And those italics. They're everywhere. Over 60 phrases are emphasized with italics, used not for style, but to wake us up. Rigorous honesty. Thoroughly follow our path. These weren't just lines. They were flashing lights on the highway to sobriety.
After the main text of the Big Book was written in 1938, Bill Wilson asked the first 100 sober alcoholics to do something bold. Tell your story. And they did, writing raw, honest accounts of addiction, spiritual awakening, and rebuilding their lives. These personal stories became the backbone of the Big Book, offering hope to newcomers who might say, "You don't understand." Over the years, as AA grew, the stories evolved. New editions brought in fresh voices from women, young people, old-timers, agnostics. But through every edition, from the first printing in 1939 to today, one story has always remained: Dr. Bob's Nightmare. His words still open the story section, reminding us it was only a matter of being willing to believe.
Of the sobriety chip, that little token of clean time, started in the 1940s, not from AA headquarters, but from local groups. The first known use was in Indianapolis, where sponsors handed out poker chips to newcomers with the message, "Keep this in your pocket and out at the bar." Others say it began in Elmira, New York, or even Canada, where early home groups handed out clay tokens marked with sobriety dates. Over time, the chip evolved from simple plastic to bronze medallions engraved with, "To thine own self be true." The 24-hour chip became the most sacred of all, a reminder that sobriety is earned one day at a time. And no matter where you go in the world, that small coin is a universal badge of courage.
The AA triangle symbol, three sides representing unity, recovery, and service, first appeared in the 1950s. It sat inside a circle meant to reflect the wholeness and balance of a sober life. Bill W. introduced it at the 1955 International Convention in St. Louis, when AA officially handed leadership from the founders to the fellowship. The triangle became a spiritual geometry, three legacies supporting each other, none more important than the others. But in 1993, Alcoholics Anonymous World Services dropped the triangle from official literature and logos. Why? Legal issues. AA lost a court case trying to protect the triangle as a trademark, so to avoid further confusion, they pulled it from covers and branding, though the meaning lives on. Fun trivia: the triangle and circle was once stamped on sobriety chips, jewelry, even coffee mugs. You can still find them today.
From a single conversation in Akron, Ohio, in 1935, Alcoholics Anonymous has grown into a worldwide fellowship. Today, AA is present in over 180 countries, with meetings held in more than 71 languages. What began with two men and one message, one alcoholic helping one another, has reached millions across the globe. The language may differ, but the solution is shared.
AA is a we program. Sobriety is not a destination. It is a journey. So join us on this journey.
Heaven, I'm in heaven.